Hey everybody, this is CJ,
And I'm Rain.
and we're embracing paradise. And we are here today to talk about moving large dogs from the U.S. to Dominican Republic that aren't service dogs. Um, so we went through the entire process, and I feel like we have a good understanding of everything that is involved, costs. Headaches, and some stuff that you might encounter if anyone is if anyone's out there that's interested in moving with large dogs. And yeah, this is just a video of us breaking it down.
Mhm. If you see me look down, it's because I have my iPad right in front of me with all the notes. Um,
There's a lot of notes.
yeah, and I did a breakdown of the cost, and I'll tell you the final cost at the end, and we'll kind of go through line by line of what that covers.
Mhm.
So I guess you can start with how you found the company and the name of the company.
Yeah, just honestly just browsing online and reaching out to different companies to see what they offered, how they um I guess go through their process, or what their process is, how they ship the dogs, and just everything I could think of. And we ended up deciding with a company called Move Pets. That's Movepets.
We'll
Work,
put it in the description.
yeah, work with a gentleman by the name of Campbell, I believe it was. Yeah,
Yes.
Campbell. Yep. Um, he was very responsive. Just all hours of the day. Definitely kept us as calm as possible, and we'll get into that with the breakdown here.
Yep.
But yeah, since you, I guess, have all the notes, I'll let you kind of take over, and I'll just throw in my 2 cents when needed.
Sure. So, the first thing was we didn't know, I guess, that specific vets could be USDA certified and some are not.
Mhm.
So that was issue number one. We found out in the research of figuring out, okay, what do the boys need to enter DR? One of the first things that I found out before we even found Move Pets was we needed to find a USDA certified vet, and we were both like, "What?"
Yeah, and just to sorry to cut you off there,
It's okay.
babe. The vet we were using in Texas wasn't USDA certified,
Correct.
so the whole time they've been going to the vet, um, you know, they've been being handled by them, and then when it was time to move, we had to find a second vet to
And
take them to.
I'll explain
Yeah,
that process. So, so as I said, the vet needed to be USDA certified. Here's the thing though, not just USDA certified, but USDA certified in international certificates on top of USDA certified to do Caribbean certificates. I also have a link on how we found our USDA certified vet, so I'll also put that in the description. Um, or in whatever country it is that you're trying to move
yeah,
to. So, for example, I found several in our area in Texas that were USDA certified, and they said, "Yeah, we can do it." And I'm like, "Oh, great! So you can do it for the Dominican Republic?" No, our vet isn't certified in that. Okay, thanks. I think in the one day I called over 20 different vets until we found the one that was certified
hmm
to do it in the Caribbean and more specifically in DR.
yeah.
Um,
Sorry to cut you off here. So, because there were some that were USD certified for Europe and just all over the world, but we needed one specifically
for
for
DR,
here.
yeah. So that's something that I would definitely say is once you use the link, definitely call and just say, hey, are you certified to do the international certificate for this specific place that I'm trying to travel to? So that's number one. That was very important because if you take them and you spend all the money on doing everything that you need, and now here you are travel date, or you're getting ready to book everything with the company and they tell you, well, this isn't the right certificate, now you have to start all over again when you're ready to kind of pull the trigger.
Yep.
That would suck. So I'm glad that I did do that research and I found that out.
Yeah, because, and sorry to cut you off again, but just to piggyback off of that, one of the first vets that I called to reach out to, I had an appointment and everything scheduled, but they weren't. certified for Dominican Republic. I think they were like I said, Europe and Asia or
something like
something
that.
like that. But they didn't have, I guess, the proper credentials for the Caribbean. So that's definitely something to look out for.
Yeah. As well as when you find the vet that is USDA certified in the specific nation, I would say find several and kind of just make note of their the
Costs.
cost associated with getting all the certificates, because we had found another one that CJ was actually on the phone with
Hmm.
while I was on the phone with the one that we ended up choosing. And if we would have went with just the first one that we found, which was the one that CJ found, it would have been almost $2,000 more of cost.
Yep.
Where the one that I found, what we paid for all of the certificates that we got for both of the boys would have just covered one certificate for one of the boys.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, because they were the one that we went with, which is the one you found, kind of gave us a break on the second dog. It was like, oh yeah, you pay full cost and for the first one, and then they kind of helped out on the second one, right?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
They were just a lot cheaper. So, for example, if I remember correctly, so like their certificates, I think with one of them was about 100. I think it was in total. And when I say the certificate, I say the two certificates, and I'll break that down in a minute. Let's say for one dog was 300. The one that CJ called was for one certificate was almost $750
Yeah.
plus the consultation fee and all this other crap. So keep that in mind, as well as you need to find out, once you select this vet that you're going to choose from, that you're going to take your dogs to, I'm sorry, is figure out if that specific country requires an additional specific health certificate. For example, once we got the USDA certified certificate,
And that's just for the U.S. side, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
So once you find that one, we came to find out, thanks to Campbell at Move Pets, that, hey, yeah, this one's great, but DR requires an additional one. So now you need to go back and get this additional one. By the time that we found that out, we were already in Louisiana on our
Hmm.
way down to Florida. And our vet was amazing, where she said, well, I already saw the dogs. Just send me the link for the one that you need, and they were able to do it. I paid over the phone. They were great. So that's another thing, is make sure that there isn't a specific one that your country needs.
Yep.
And for the DR one, I'll also post that one in the link because I do have it in my email. So in the event that you are moving to DR, I'll put that there as well. Um, and then, in addition to, while you're doing all that research and you're speaking to your vets, is make sure to do the research on which exact vaccines that specific country requires, because from what we found out, every single country requires different ones. So, for example, the
DR was one of the easiest, so I
yes,
must admit it was rabies. What was it,
a
the
lipo some,
parvo?
yeah,
Yeah.
parvo, lipo something, and some
It
other
was like
thing.
basic shots that your dog would normally get if
Correct.
you take him to the vet in the states.
And they must be microchipped and
Yep.
fixed before they enter DR, where
Yep.
some other countries may require additional ones. And that was something that we found out through our vet. Was, I guess she was telling me that Venezuela required like a list of like 30 or something like that. I don't remember. This was 2 months ago, so they required a lot more. So keep that in mind to do the research on these specific ones that the country needs before you enter. Um, Now we're gonna get into the breakdown of like the actual move company and all that stuff. Sorry.
Mm.
And it's the first thing that I want to kind of note is that the crates are not included when they give you
Quote.
a quote. You'll
Hmm.
see that there's a note there saying, if you want a crate, here's what the cost will be. Luckily, what they do is, before they send you a quote, they kind of send you a questionnaire where you send them pictures of the dogs.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
include like their weight, height,
yeah,
just so they know which size crate you would need. Again, they offer it, so um, they also give you the opportunity to get your own crate, um, but it has to be
a specific
a
one.
specific kind that's you know that they can put the dogs in and fly, fly with. Sorry, babe.
That's okay. And then also in said crate, once you get the crate, like if you purchase your own or once you go to drop off your dogs, if they are providing the crate for you, you cannot add any toys or any choke hazards or
Yep.
anything like that. Literally, the only thing that they tell you is a blanket or a towel, the world's simplest leash and the world's simplest collar.
Hmm.
So, for example, the collar that we had for the boys had an air tag because I'm a nervous wreck and I want to make sure that I could track them. And Campbell told us, nope, you're gonna have to put that, you're gonna have to take it and keep it with you. Don't leave any tags on it. It's just literally a collar so we can hook their leash on, and if we need to walk them, we can do so.
And he also said there it wasn't guaranteed we would get any of it back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the crates itself, it does the ones that they provided and the ones that they require, which from what we learned is IATA approved, and IATA is the International Airport Transport Association. So those crates already include a water bottle, kind of like the ones that you see in a hamster cage.
Just on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
Hmm.
much larger. At least the ones for our boys because they're pretty big. So it did include that already.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, babe, but just keep in mind we moved a dog that's about 100 pounds, and then another one that's about 60 pounds. So we're talking about two fairly large dogs, and this is, the process of moving dogs that big.
yeah. And then the dog moving company does require for you to fill up a Ziploc bag of food for each dog in the event that they are with them for so long that they need to be fed.
Hmm.
And they do ask you to tell them, hey, when was the last time that they were fed? And do they require to be fed while they're in transport? In addition to, like I said, no tags or anything on their collars, just the world's plainest collars and everything. So uh, while we were in Miami, went to a store, bought a brand new collar, brand new leash for each one of the boys, just in case they didn't make it back. Um,
Yeah, and that's why, because he told us the leashes and collars may not make it. So we're like, well, if they don't make it, we're gonna need collars and leashes when we get to DR.
yeah,
So that's essentially, we out of safety we went and bought more.
yeah. I mean, they did luckily make it back
Yeah,
with the boys, but
I didn't
like we said,
understand why he would say that though. Like,
yeah.
but
I mean, maybe
maybe
sometimes
security.
they've gotten lost. Maybe I'm
Hmm.
not sure, but we did buy them new ones, and I put their tags and their air tags on the new ones so that the
Hmm.
minute that we pick them up, we can put them on there and they could be safe and all that stuff. Um, One very important thing, and here this is one that I, as an impatient person, had to learn and kind of walk myself through is they're going to give you a flight time. That flight time is not written in stone. The
Hmm.
reason why is because at least our boys were so large that they had to fly in a cargo plane. And the way that it works is, oh, we're thinking that it's going to take off at 11 a.m. or whatever time,
Hmm.
but it's more of whenever that gets filled, that's when that plane will
Yeah,
actually move.
whenever they have enough cargo for to make the trip worthwhile is when it will move.
But it will be at the end by the end of that day is what our contact told us. So
Hmm.
it's not like, oh, they're not going to sit there for 3 weeks and your dog is going to be sitting somewhere. It's going to be by the
Yeah,
end of that day. But if they told you, let's say, like for us, they said the boys would take off, I think it was like at 7, they would land by 11. They didn't take off till about 6
6
and didn't
p.m.
land until 11 p.m.,
Yeah.
which was huge.
Yep.
In addition to, keep in mind that I would not book a singular flight for yourself and your partner or your family or whoever is going with you on this move. I would not book a singular flight until you speak to the moving company. And that is because your dog may not be able to fly to your airport of choice. For example, we thought it was going to be simple. Oh, we'll fly out of Miami because it makes it easier for the boys, a little bit shorter flight. They'll fly straight into Punta Cana. We pick them up. We have a 15-minute drive from the airport to where we're staying. Perfect. Yeah, that did not go as planned. Luckily, we did not book anything until we spoke to Campbell and them, but they flew into the capital, which is almost 2.5 hours away from Punta Cana.
Yep.
So we had to rent a much larger rental when we got to the airport. We hung out in the capital
All day.
all freaking day waiting
Shout
for
out
the
to
boys.
Jay.
Yes, shout out to IMJ abroad.
Yes.
Um, for letting us hang out with him and his family. They're amazing, and you guys have heard us
Yes.
talk about them before. And they are, he's tagged in one of our videos for being such an amazing dude. But we hung out in the capital all day because it was constant delays, delays, delays. And as I said before, it's because they were waiting for the cargo plane to be full enough where it made sense for them to go. So we
But we were in constant contact you
Correct.
know, whenever it was delayed, he'd call or message, and it was actually on an app. So, which is cool, is they start a workspace on the app, and it's constant contact with your rep, and it's basically like a text message that's going back and forth. And like you said, they were supposed to land at
11
11,
a.m.
then it got pushed back to 3, then it was like 5, and then it was 6, and then they finally took off at 6, and then they flew into the capital, and that was a process. But I'll let you continue where you left off.
That's okay. So once they landed, in the capital, I thought it was going to be as simple as, hey, Move Pets got all the paperwork together because we got all their certificates and everything that we needed. You literally just submit it through the app to your contact and they put everything together. That's if you decide, that's an additional fee that if you want them to kind of do everything for you,
Hmm.
that they can do that. And what I mean is like clearing customs once they get here. So, and that's something that we chose just to make our life easier because we've never done this before. We don't know what we were going to need or what that process was going to be like. So we went ahead and said, yep, let's just pay for the person in DR to do whatever it is that they need to do so that all we need to do is pick up the boys and go.
Yep.
So we thought that it was going to be simple. We thought it was going to be, oh, as they're getting off the plane, here's their packet with all their crap, sayonara. That was not it at all. They landed at 11. By the time that they got off the plane, that they cleared customs and all that other crap, we weren't able to pick them up till about 12:30. So they
Hmm.
were out there BSing, if you will, for what I know. I don't know what the heck was going on
Yeah.
for another hour, hour and a half.
So once they landed, then they get on a box truck to the warehouse where we pick them up. So it was another traveling experience for them, from the airport to the warehouse. Luckily, I think he was the owner of the
I
company on
believe
this
so.
side. Very nice guy. He kind of could tell that we were frustrated just because of all the delays and being there
No,
all
I made it
day.
very clear to him that I was frustrated.
But he actually took us out for drinks and a cigar that was around the area. He's like, don't worry about your dogs. He's like, as soon as they land, I'll have my guys will call me. And then I'll bring you guys back to get it. So yeah, and that's exactly what happened. We went out for a cigar, got some drinks. His phone rang, and his guy said, "Yep, they're at the warehouse. They can come get them." And then we did.
Yeah, and then once they cleared customs and we made it to the warehouse, I will give a huge shout out to the guys at the warehouse because they were super sweet. They saw that it was two dogs, and literally the entire warehouse stopped just to see, oh, what type of dogs were they? Are they friendly? Are they this? Are they that? They were amazing.
Hmm.
And so what I did was I had CJ stay out since I'm the Spanish speaker. That way he could have the car running with the AC, get the water ready for the boys, get the car ready for them to kind of get back to their regular environment. So I walked in, I grabbed Jake first, and while I was grabbing Jake, I did explain, "Hey, he's a big boy, but he's nice. Like he's just big. He doesn't understand that he's humongous and may look a little scary." So they were super sweet. A couple of them did pet him, and he was just ready to go. And when I got in, I said, "Hey, Sully's blind. He gets really anxious and nervous. He may pee, he may not. I have no idea just because he's been in a crate for a while." And I told them, I just asked that you guys kind of keep it down a little bit because really loud noises do make him a little bit anxious since he cannot see what's going on.
Yep.
So literally one of the guys told everyone, I need you to shut the entire operation down. Nobody move. Nothing is to be moved until this dog is out. So they were amazing. Big shout out to them. They were super sweet. Once you get your dogs, they ask you, do you want to take the crates or do you want us to get rid of them? I chose to get rid of them because we had no space in our rental because we
Yeah.
had all of our bags and the entire back seat was for the boys. So I was like, y'all do whatever y'all want. I don't care. I got my boys. Like, sayonara,
Yep.
guys. So, but other than that, they were great. But trying to find the location where to get the boys was really interesting because it's on the cargo area um, of the airport, and there are very little signs.
Yeah. Mind you, it's also midnight, so it's pitch black, and we're just on a hunt to find this
We're
place.
exhausted, also.
Exhausted, yeah, because the day before we drove, or the 2 days before, it was like a 16-hour drive from Texas to Miami.
Yeah, and we got up really early that day. So there's that.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get into kind of the breakout of the moving company's costs and then all the additional costs that we had to do for all of the certificates and all that other crap.
Mhm.
So, for example, once we
Started the
signed, yeah,
process.
once we signed, or not signed, excuse me, once we filled out the questionnaire and we sent it to Move Pets, they sent us back a quote. And again, that is just a quote because you can add things, remove things, blah, blah, blah. So when you sign the quote, they ask for a deposit, and that deposit gets the entire process going. If they're going to start looking for flights, they're going to start telling you, okay, here are the requirements, here's what you need. Send me this, send me
They
that, blah,
literally
blah, blah.
walk you through the process. Once they find out this is what you need, or the guy's been doing it for 20 years. He said he's put pets all across the planet. So he said he typically knows everything. If he has any questions, he has contacts, and then he'll relay everything to you. So he gets it done.
Mhm.
Surely.
Yeah. And then one thing that I just remembered, the USDA health certificate is only good for 10 days.
Yes, yes, that's very important.
So you can't do it. Let's say, oh, I'm going to move January 1st. Let me get this done now. No, 10 days. So literally everything feels like it's last minute because
Hmm.
the USDA requires for it to be a
Yeah,
10
it's
day
a 10-day
window.
period, and you have to travel within that 10 days.
Correct.
Hmm.
So
So
let's say
I was
if
gonna
you're going to
say, if you use
travel,
ours for example, what
yeah.
day would do we leave?
So we were going to travel on the 21st, which
Hmm.
means the health certificate had to be completed between the 11th and the 20th.
Hmm.
They normally tell you get it between the 11th and like the 15th, just
Yeah.
so that the USDA, so you can submit it on the 11th because the USDA does take their time. They are a
Hmm.
government office. They work at their own pace, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anywho, so it takes 10 days. So that was another thing that I was kind of, not weary, but like that's why Move Pets came in clutch because they told us you're not going to be able to fly into Punta Cana. You have to fly in through SDQ. Great, perfect. So we booked our flights through SDQ. Everything happened. The other thing that I would say is definitely book your flights where it has free changes. Um,
Yes.
just because we had a delay with the boys, we were
Hmm.
supposed to fly on the 20th. There was something going on where they were not going to fly into DR on the 20th, so we had to move to the 21st. We did not know this until about the 18th.
Yeah.
So on the 18th, I was like, oh shit, I have to change Airbnbs, rentals, flights. Like it was just he was literally driving to Miami as I'm here changing all this crap because that's just how it goes. So again, don't don't think that everything is going to be written in stone. It's not written in stone until it's done.
Yeah. Until they're on the plane and you're on the plane. And
Exactly.
even when you're on the plane, you may get a text saying, "Hey,
There's
they're
a delay.
delayed." Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't call it delayed. They call, I forgot what term he used, but he's like, "No, it's not a delay." But in my head, I'm like, if they didn't
I
leave
think it
on
was like a
time,
pushback or
yeah,
something that he
pushback
said.
or something like that, because it's all cargo lingo, like I said earlier. But they got here, so that was all that was, that's all that mattered.
Yeah. So there's a $300 deposit. Once you sign the contract, within minutes you get a link to pay your $300 deposit. They do not move unless they get that deposit. And I really think that that deposit is really just to get them started. It's not. I'm not really going to consider it a deposit. They label it a deposit because when we got our final bill, that wasn't like you didn't see like, oh, your total is X amount minus the 300, so now your balance is Y. No, it was just you want us to get working, you need to pay us 300,
Hmm.
which hey, you did all the work, do you, boo? Like charge me what you're going to do because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then there is a admin fee, and the admin fee is for you to have access to this contact, like we did with Campbell, for them to do everything. This pays their time essentially, and that was $599.
Hmm.
So that was the admin fee. Then there is an additional fee, and from what I understood is not everyone is allowed to be in the area, at least let's say in the Miami area. You're not allowed to be at the airport like just a regular person like we are. So they have like additional fees and costs that they have to pay in order to have someone like us just roll up on there with their dogs and do whatever it is. So there is a meet and greet fee, and our meet and greet fee at the Miami airport was $550. Then the flights for both boys from Miami to the capital, so the SDQ airport, was $2,395.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a lot more expensive than ours. Okay. Then there's a $16 fee, and that's to give you app access and the live pet sticker, and that just goes on the
The
actual
crate.
crates.
Hmm.
Um, then here is the additional fee that we paid for the person to do everything here in DR so that the boys could clear customs. So we paid $975 for import services fee, and that's just a broker in the Dominican Republic that did everything
Yeah.
for the boys through customs. Like she literally was, from my understanding, when I was speaking to
Hmm.
Hector, which is the owner of the company
Yep.
here in DR, she literally, the minute they tell her, hey, plane number 12345 has landed, they've got these two dogs, she literally gets on the plane. As those crates move, she moves.
Yep.
And she's got the paperwork, she does everything. So that was 975.
And any issue that they come across, she handles it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and she did. I think that cost was worth it because we would have been so lost trying to figure everything out through customs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then, of course, they're not going to pay for it. They're going to ask you to pay it through a credit card. So we had a $180 processing fee because it was a huge bill. So and then we paid for the crates. Each crate was $375.
yep,
So we paid $750 for two 700 series dog crates. And again, those are IATA approved.
yep,
Um, so we paid the $300 deposit. Then when we submitted the deposit and the quote, we selected that we wanted the crates, so we paid for the crates, that's 750 individually, and then we paid in the final bill, and that was the one with the admin fee, the meet and greet fee, the app access, the flights, the broker, and the
everything
processing
else.
fee was 4,715. That is not everything,
Hmm.
okay? Because the boys were going to travel a couple hours after we were in Miami, we paid a $60 kenneling fee. And now here's going to be all the health certificates and all that other crap that you're going to have to do in the States. Here's what we paid in the States. So we took both boys to get a DAPPV, and that is like a parvo, some crap or the
Yeah,
other.
it's like a
I don't
five in
freaking
one
know.
vaccine.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell that is, but we paid it. So that was $20, $10 per dog. And then for Jake to get his vet exam prep for the USDA health certificate, and Sully as well. Each one of the boys was $66.49. Each one of them to get their USDA international health certificate. That's just for them to leave the states. Was $158.73 per dog. And then we came to find out that the DAPPV that Jake got didn't have the lepto because what he needed was the DAPPV-L.
Hmm.
So we paid $15 for the lepto. And for Sully, we paid $24.50 because he got the distemper parvo lepto vaccine, which is pretty much the same thing as the DAPPV plus the lepto, but they just decided to give Sully like the whole thing. But we did make sure with the vet that this wasn't going to affect his health in any way, shape, or form, seeing as he had just gotten the DAPPV like a week before. She said it wasn't going to harm him in any way, it wasn't going to do anything, so we just went with that. Now, when we found out when we were on our way to Miami, when we were in Louisiana, that we found out from Campbell that they needed the DR USDA health certificate, that was $113.25 for each one of the boys. So now, when you add all the vaccines, the two health certificates, the additional lepto vaccines, the vet exams, the moving company deposit, the crates,
Everything.
all that
Yeah.
other crap, we spent $6,561.44 to move our two very handsome, adorable, very expensive boys.
Yeah, but how many other dogs can say they're international?
Not a lot, because there are a lot, from what we have found out, there are a lot of people that say, well, I'm moving international, so I'm just going to go drop them off and let the ASPCA or let the pound or whoever
Yeah,
deal with it. I was not going to do that. Um,
and they're happy here.
they are very happy here. Now, keep in mind that the only reason why we did that is because neither one of them can be service dogs. And that is because one, Sully is blind.
Mhm.
Uh, since he's been blind, he's very skeptical around people, and he's always kind of like a little antsy when there's
Yeah, he's
people around.
on edge when he hears loud noises or hears new people.
Yeah.
she's always on edge. But I understand. You lose your sight after you know
8 years.
8 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't see, and now you're freaking out. And then Jake, we actually had Jake in the service dog
He just won't
program.
pass the last test.
Yeah, he can't pass. I think it was like called level 3 or something like that. And it was actually I was actually going through the course with him. Sorry to go on a tangent here, but he couldn't get past a red light, green light part of the test.
And that's the testing of, does he know when he's on duty and off duty? And Jake always thinks he's off duty.
Yeah,
He thinks it's always playtime. So that's the
yeah,
reason why he couldn't pass it. Now, would it be probably a lot cheaper if you can get your dog or
yeah.
dogs to be
Service animals.
service animals?
Yep.
Freaking
You could
absolutely.
actually do it online too.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. If you can do it, do it. That way your
Mhm.
baby can fly sitting right next to you. It doesn't matter what anybody says. But if you have two crazies like I do that just will not pass for either health reasons or because they are just so freaking goofy like my Jake is, um, then this is kind of going to have to be what you're kind of going to have to do is go
Yeah.
through like a pet moving company. And there are several other pet moving companies out there, but something about Move Pets just for us I feel like was the best. And we spoke to a lot of different companies
Hmm.
to keep that in mind, and we just selected them just because I feel like they had more experience, and they just made us feel like, hey, if we can't answer all of your questions, or if we just don't know, or we can't figure this out,
Yeah.
we'll find a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have contacts. We will do whatever we need to make sure that we can get this done. And that's honestly why we selected them, is because they made us feel like it didn't matter what was going to happen. They were going to figure this out. And they were very, like their communication was, right on point. They did ease a lot of my nerves at times. Every time the boys got their little delay or their pushback, as they call it, um, we were getting pictures of them. And Campbell told us, hey, I'm literally just sitting in a box truck with both of them in their crates, and I just got the AC going because it's hot as hell
Yep.
in Miami.
He took him for walks to let him
Hmm.
use the bathroom. Yeah, he took care of them until they got on the plane. So really appreciated that, and then just the communication. Um, yeah, $6,561 and 44 cents. Definitely love them.
And for both of our one-way tickets, first class, with an additional 2 bags, we paid about 1,500.
Yeah,
So yeah, they better know they're freaking loved.
and again, this is for larger dogs. Jake's like 100 pounds, if not a little bit more. Sully's about 60. So I'm not sure if there's any like weight limits. If a dog is a service animal, if you need to buy 2, 3 seats, I don't know what that process is. This is the process that we took and was easiest for us. That way, it was kind of hands off. We just make sure their vaccines were up to date, get them to the airport they were leaving, and then everything in between Move Pets handled. So that was just the easiest for us.
Yeah, I agree. And I know the flights were almost 2,400 for the boys, but from my understanding is because it's a cargo plane, it has to do a lot with how much space the crates are
Yep.
taking and their actual weight. And so one thing that I do want to say is because we actually flew out on the 21st, all four of us, on the 20th, we had to go the day before. The boys had to meet Campbell. They had to get in their crates, make sure that they fit. Then they had to weigh them so that they can get some of the additional last minute paperwork ready. So they did all of that as well. So be prepared for, um, just because you're flying tomorrow doesn't mean that you can get there tomorrow morning to catch your flight. You're going to have to be there the day before to kind of dot all your I's and
Yeah.
cross all your
It's like the
T's.
meet and greet.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to include since you wrote the notes or anything.
No, just make sure that you start doing your research early. Don't wait until 2 weeks before you want to move and say, oh, I'm going to start this now. That's not going to work. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you're going to have to kind of get together and answer. And also, please be patient with your babies and understand that they've never done this before. Maybe I don't know if your dogs have done this before, but ours had never done this before. So this is a learning curve for them as well. Be patient. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand. There's really no way that you can actually explain, like, hey bud, we're moving across country, or across the world, like, you're coming with us, but it's just we got to do what we got to do. So be patient with them, give them lots of love, give them lots of attention before and after, which is something that, like, we tried to do, which is why in every stop that we did on our way from Texas to Miami, we stayed wherever we stayed for a couple days so that we can spend time with them, so we can give them love and they could know, you're not being abandoned. This is just something we're all going through together. And then when we got to DR, we both took a couple days off of work just to spend time with them. One day, all four of us literally just rested and spent all day just lounging and sleeping around like the Airbnb. And then after that, we just spent time with them. We bought them toys, new beds, and a bunch of stuff. So be patient with your dogs. Make sure that that they understand that you love them and that they're not abandoning them, especially if they're adopted, like ours are, especially if they're like Jake, who there were actual strays, you know. And that was something that I was really nervous about, was Jake gonna think that we were abandoning them? Yeah, and that really hurt me, but I know that he knew he didn't. And for that reason, the blanket that I put in both of their crates were their old blankets, where it smelled like our home. It smelled like us. Jakey smelled like his brothers, and Sully smelled like his brothers and us. So he knew that, we were still kind of with him without being with him. But just be patient with them. Just like, this is a stressful time for you. It's a stressful time for them too. So
And I,
just be patient.
yeah, you may hear them barking now. Yeah. So, was there anything else?
No, that's all I have. I will make a list and put it at some point in this, kind of break it down one by one, and we'll put the links to Move Pets, the USDA health certificate, like how to find a USDA certified, sorry, uh, vet, and all that in the description.
Yep. And just make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment.
Hit the bell.
Yeah, hit the bell. Any questions you have, please let us know. We'll try our best to answer them. Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing anybody that's moving here with their pets.
Yep. Make sure to follow both our IG and TikTok. It
Mhm.
is at We Are Embracing Paradise, and it'll be somewhere
Yeah.
over here. And just let us know in the comments. Do you have any additional questions? Do you want to know anything else? Anything like that that we could answer when it comes to, moving your dogs. Um, just because it was a really long and difficult process for the both of us. There were plenty of times where I was like, do I just give up because this just sounds like a lot of work? But don't. Move Pets helped us a lot. They helped us through the entire process to kind of get this figured out. So let us know if you have any questions, because we wish somebody would have done a video like this when we were doing it, because it would have eased my mind a whole lot more.
Alrighty. And nothing from me.
All right, guys, and
Alrighty.
that's all we've got from now.
Yep.
Stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned. Yeah, definitely stay tuned. We got from here. We're gonna go shoot another video or two, and then get those uploaded here shortly. All right. See you guys later.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.